watching the National Sand Drag News live stream. We're at the 2017 Avenal Sand Drags Fall Nationals. We're getting ready for Top Alcohol final qualifying. Jake Morton will be here in the near lane up against Jim Hammond. These are the two cars that are running in Top Alcohol this weekend. Jim ran a 2.50 with a 9 last night. Jake ran 2.50 with an 8 in the earlier session today. We'll see if these guys can break into the 40s and who will end up as the number one qualifier, Top Alcohol. They're giving the signal to fire up. Top Alcohol, final qualifying session. .265 for Jim Hammond over on the far side. Not sure what happened with Jake Morton over here in the near lane and dropped red on him. So Jim Hammond 265. Jake Morton will be your number one qualifier going into race day tomorrow for first round elimination. Top eliminators up next. Last qualifying session coming up next. It looks like we have one more car in the field. We're up to 10 in Top Eliminator. Ron Moran, he ran 3:07 this morning. Looks like he's decided to step up, run with Top Eliminator here. So you're watching the National Sand Drag News live stream presented by Avenal Sand Drag this weekend. We're in Avenal, California, about halfway between Fresno and Bakersfield for the 2017 Avenal Sand Drag Fall Nationals. We got Texas, New Mexico in the house. Shout out to everybody checking in. Rocky Point in the house. 295 index, top eliminator. Coming at you right now. It's going to be Ron Diartney in the near lane and Jim Rossi in the far lane. And Jim Rossi left way early before the three ambers came on. Ron Diartney goes 3:01 with a 9 at 90 miles an hour, clicking it off early. So make sure he gets in the show. 3:01 ought to put him in the number 3 spot. So a nice lap for Ron Diartney. Jim Rossi will stand on his 298 from earlier today. So he's your number 2 qualifier at the moment. As the next pair gets ready to go, it's going to be Tristan Graham in the whiskey business blown alcohol buggy up against Ron Moran in the Wild American. Ron making his first CE pass of the weekend. So 324 was the number for Tristan Graham. Ron Moran, it looked like it flickered the stage bulb and went out, so he did not get a time on that one. So Tristan Graham with a 324. So we're going to clean the track and come back with the rest of Top Eliminator qualifying session. The final session of the weekend for TE. It looks like Paul Graham and Wes Gilmore will be up next. Also a big shout out to everybody checking in. I see the Warbird teams on here. Zanesville, Ohio. Mike Smith. A big shout out to Mike Smith, everybody from Pahrump. Watching the final qualifying session for Top Eliminator right now. We wrapped up the sportsman bracket categories here a few minutes ago. We got the final round videos. I'll post it on the Facebook page. Bill Meany took the win in Sport 1 over Leon Wilmot. Joey Arena took the win over Paul May in Sport 2. Daniel Bailey took the win over Dave Stidham in Sport 3. Then earlier today, the motorcycle sport classes, MS1 was Kevin Ruiz over Robert Garnis, and MS2 was Rowdy May over Dylan Taylor. So the tractors are back. So it's go time. Paul Graham in the excavator. This is your number 4 qualifier currently. He'll be up against Wes Gilmore in the blown alcohol Jeep. Getting the signal to fire up. Top Eliminator, final qualifying session of the weekend. Paul Graham to the number 1 spot. 296 with a 5, 114 miles an hour. So Paul Graham, 296 with a 5, 3,000ths of a second better than Paul Taylor's 296.8 from yesterday. So 296 with a 2 for Paul Graham, 337 for Wes Gilmore. So 296.5 for Paul Graham. We'll go to the top of the sheet in Top Eliminator qualifying so far. We got a couple more tough customers coming up next. We've got Andy Oliveira and Craig Brewster. Brewster misses the perfect run by 1/1000th of a second. He goes 2.94 with a 9. 294.9 at 112 miles an hour. Look at Andy Oliveira, 3:14, his best run of the weekend on his new ride. Very nice run for Andy Oliveira, 3:14. 294 with a 9 for Craig Brewster. So Craig was going for it, 294.9. That car's been super consistent all weekend. He started with a 294 with a 4. He went 294 with an 8, and now 294 with a 9. He just needs to get a little bit on the slower side of 295 here. So next up, it's going to be Mark Whitmore in the Whitmore Speed and Custom Altered up against Paul Taylor. Paul trying out some different mojo this weekend. No more out of control on the side of his dragster. Not sure why, but hey, we'll see if Paul can grab the top spot back. He was your number one qualifier heading into this session, and Paul Graham just bumped him back. But yeah, Kyle, Andy's car is a small block. That altered on the far side. That was Mark Whitmore's old car, and it does have a small block in it. So yeah, that was a really good lap for him. First weekend at Top Eliminator racing with the car. I know they took it to Lemoore and made some test passes with it a few weeks ago. And this is his first big race with the car, and they've stepped up each round. Started at a 331, and it's all the way up to 314 on his third full pass. Pretty good, pretty nice setup there for Andy Oliveira. So it's time for the last pair. We'll see if Paul Taylor or Mark Whitmore can slide in there. Paul Graham left him a 15,000th window to jump in there, take the top spot. We'll see if they can get the job done. with a 1 for Mark Whitmore. 298.1. Very nice lap to move him up to number 3 or so in the order. Very nice run for the Whitmore team. 300 for Paul Taylor. 300, not an improvement, but 298 with a 1 for Mark Whitmore. Very nice lap. A very nice lap from Mark Wetmore. So that'll round up top eliminator qualifying. Your number 1 qualifier going into race day tomorrow is Paul Graham, 296 with a 5. So that's all for now, folks. We're gonna go. We got Pro Gambler time trials coming up next for the Pro Car Gambler time trials, and then eliminations. We'll be back for. We'll try to do round 1 eliminations of the Pro Gambler. That's gonna probably be 45 minutes to an hour or so, and then we'll keep checking in with live throughout that. So thanks everybody for tuning in to the National Sand Drag News live stream from the Avenal Sand Drags Fall Nationals. We'll be back in a little bit. Thanks, guys.